Give it a few seconds. We already went over what the first two pictures were. One of them was the aftermath of me not going to Virginia fast enough because I was fucking broke. I didn't have the money to go. I didn't have the physical ability to do the stuff needed to go, and I didn't have the ability to do the breaks. Thank goodness Rory Jepson was there to save me. That's right. Lots of people did things. After Rory was able to help me get my brake pads fixed, or replaced, sorry, I got on the road. Natalie had tried to kill herself. Of course I went. The second picture is with Caitlin Tatum, one of the people who wanted to drag her feet, not find out what's going on, and then, of course, want to make a mess of things by pulling the routine of a mandated reporter who didn't do their job. They play retarded. That's not a friend or family. That's horrid. The last picture there is between myself and Joanna Taylor. Or Joanna Taylor Smith. Pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl who was dating Derek Parrish. The one who wanted to pretend like she was going to set it up so that we could sit down and have coffee, talk to each other like human beings, instead of her telling me her pretty white girl bullshit like that fucking fixes everything. No, Joanna Taylor Smith, men don't protect me. Then she's typing this, oh, well, you only need her in your mind. No, it's not in my mind. It's not like, oh, Natalie won't touch my penis, I'm in love with her, if I can't have her, nobody can. Or, I need her to love me, or my life will never be the same. No, I was being fucking harmed by people. Yes, I needed Natalie to tell these fucking people that I didn't fucking rape or molest anybody. I needed her to pretend to be my friend just for one fucking day. Long enough to tell Maddie Boa to knock off her shit, and long enough to tell Tim fucking Beeson to knock off his shit. When I was arguing with her there, we weren't arguing about Natalie, we were arguing about Maddie fucking Boa. And the situation with Natalie over it. Do I think of Natalie as a victim? Only somewhat. I get that her friends like Tim Beeson, who is a lot fucking abusive to her. I get that he didn't tell her that he was fucking threatening my life or my family's life. Actually threatening their fucking lives, you pieces of shit. Now then we see the bias on TV, especially against ugly men. Ugly men are the bad guys. Good-looking men are the superheroes. Good physique means good man. Bad physique means bad man, lazy man, ugly man, glutton man. Broke means lazy, drug addict, thief, liar. You just assign it to our groups. All homeless people, according to you, must be on drugs, must be sex offenders, must be wife beaters, must be child molesters. That's your fucking bias. We also get to see the bias through all of this by Christians who claim to care and claim they wanted to help. But in the end, it was always the Jesus, the Jesus, the Jesus. They didn't care about evidence or sharing it or speaking up. Not unless I pretended to care about their fucking schizophrenic bullshit. Their spaceman in the sky. Well, that's not help. You want me to believe in your Jesus? You show me your Jesus. I believe in Jesus. But my Jesus ain't the same as yours. The Jesus I believe in was a human being, punished by human beings, who sacrificed his entire life for human beings, who fed human beings and clothed human beings and put shelter over human beings. This is what Jesus did. He didn't tell you to go shooting people. Jesus didn't say, go kill Leslie Snell. Jesus didn't say, go kill Robert Franklin Warnick. Jesus didn't say, kill Tim Beeson. According to your very own book, it is not my place to kill them. But when I speak up about that and make a sermon about that, because I've got so many of you throwing the Jesus in my face as your excuse to be pussies. Cowards. Rats scurrying off into every corner and crack to hide. Now we also get to see on TV, there's one that I was watching where there's some women talking about bias against men, but it's one of those morning show type of things. And they hire pretty girls that don't know shit, and they sound very valley. And of course, the stuff that they want to talk about as far as men go is not our major problems. Not even close to our major problems. They try to make men's problems sound like piddly shit, and those women go out of their way to basically scoff at it on their show. To be condescending about it, but still trying to pretend like they give a shit a little bit, maybe. Now, in that message, I did my best to try to explain to her, because, of course, Joanna Taylor Smith isn't going to call me. If she calls me, she's either going to expect me to listen to her tell me every pretty meme that she's read on Facebook in the last 6 years as help, or she's going to talk about herself, or she's going to yell at me because it's her turn to talk. And I don't get far because she has all those pretty memes. And I eventually have to talk right over the top of her pretty memes and say, hey, you are projecting assumptions by doing that. Your assumptions are not the same as my situation. I very clearly stated, that was in September of 2017. That was months before Natalie was fucking killed. I stated very clearly to Joanna Taylor Smith that I did need Natalie. I needed her to call off the fucking dogs. Maddie Bowe wasn't going to do it on her own. Maddie would listen to Natalie, but I didn't know how to take fucking screenshots. And you go, well, how'd you get the screenshots then? Well, I took the screenshots afterwards when I learned how to take screenshots. Alexander?
I'm still by asking for a chance to suck a ham.
Yes, sir. One moment. Ugh. God, you're a nasty fucker. Let me grab my cane real quick.
Say again?
I said, God, you're a nasty fucker. Let me grab my cane real quick. God, that was a beautiful snot rocket. You sure you ain't from farm country?
Well, Tennessee.
Jesus, boy. That explains why you look like that.
Now shut the fuck up.
Ah, really water for vegan. Alright, so this water cans in it? No. Ah, fuck. Alright, I'm kind of a sissy. This is my bag of garbage. You cannot have that. They won't give you anything for it anyway. Oh, I hear some crumbling. That must be some
Still have
cans.
fishing gear, Jenny Supplies, low cost club box.
Do what?
Free sign.
Ah.
Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep.
Plus the house, like thanks.
Yeah, what year is this car? 94?
Yep.
It is?
Yep. I'm sorry the bag is sticky. Those are all the ones that I dug out so far. I know there's a lot more in there, and there's some in my storage. I just had to get the bags out of my car so that they weren't taking up so much damn space.
Right?
There might be 2 bottles in there that I'll have to grab out of there if they're in there, but other than that, the rest is yours.
Alrighty.
Nope, all yours. Oh, you didn't start with the bag back in. Well, they told me I can't go over to Fred Meyer's anymore.
Why?
Some crazy lady dumped all my shit off next to my car while I was in getting something to drink. And between the situation with Molly that nobody came forward about, and the
mental. That's why I just did that.
and the situation with that crazy lady dumping all my shit off, they just assumed that I was a bad guy because I got a dick. Nobody coming forward. You know, explaining
You admit
what
that
all-
they did that, right?
No, I mean,
It's
all-
a childish act.
how many people had to deal with Molly and didn't come forward about it?
A lot.
And how many people's lives did she try to destroy doing
Probably a lot.
that? Yeah, probably a lot.
I just seen that old man Tom walking down the road pushing a shopping cart yesterday.
So he's still in town?
Yeah, I just saw him yesterday.
See, that's why I stay down here. If I'm not up in town, I don't have to deal with Farnsworth. I don't have to deal with Tom. I don't have to deal with Molly. Do what?
From Robbie.
Well, he keeps fucking assaulting people in front of me and trying to assault me and fucking threatening me and calling me a chimo and a rapist and shit and doing that to other people
He's
too.
mentally ill, right?
You know what? Mentally ill is no excuse for him to fucking assault people.
That is true.
Yeah. Right?
Tried, but it would be no good.
The other thing is, I like Robbie. I see him as a human being. People have told me who he was before his brother died, and they explain a very human person. Somebody who went out and had fun. I'm mentally ill too, but they use the term mentally ill to pretend like I'm like Robert Farnsworth. I'm not. I'm autistic. Big difference. The term mentally ill is used
Way too overly used, and in the very wrong ways.
right. And the other thing is, some people use it as an excuse to harm somebody and to get away with it. Oh, I wouldn't do a thing like that. He's just mentally ill. And then there's the other ones that use it as an excuse for somebody who is predatory and violent by going, oh, well, you know, he's mentally ill. And in most of those cases, it is being wrong. Because mentally ill is not a diagnosis.
It's simply an explanation for somebody to do something.
Out of the 509 diagnoses in the DSM-5, none of them are mentally ill. Schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, these are what are considered mental illnesses.
It's simply an explanation for a reason why somebody would do something extremely eccentric.
Whoa.
Would you agree?
Not quite, but I've got a different view of eccentric than you do. The difference between crazy and eccentric is how much money you
do
got.
weird shit. Okay, that's what eccentric is. You
It's
do
what?
weird shit. Eccentric, you do weird shit.
Yeah, like finance expeditions to Africa to go through the Great Pyramids and measure the thing. That's eccentric. Building a SpaceX ship to go up into outer space, that's eccentric too. You just saluted the road. I don't see an American flag over there. Were you saluting McDonald's?
No. I was saluting my dead grandfather.
Ah,
He was in the Marines. He was also in the Army. And I was in the JRROTC for a lot of my youth. And I need to go into the military as an adult now.
oh God.
I feel like a worthless waste of space.
Well, you're being a useless waste of space. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Sure does. I have a cigarette if you got one.
I do not have a cigarette, but I do have rolling papers and tobacco.
Or anyone.
gonna roll me a cigarette.
Huh?
I said I'm gonna roll me a cigarette. I can't find my damn lighter though. There it is. I fucked up my hand earlier today.
What?
I said I fucked up my hand earlier today.
How?
I smacked my two fingers here on this thing right here as I was getting back in.
You shutting the door?
Well, I wasn't shutting the door yet, but I got my finger all stuck in it weird.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, it is indeed so. One might say it's quite hilarious.
Oh, I'm about sick of this shit. I'm sick of the term mentally ill because in the DSM-5 there's 509 diagnoses and not a single one of them is mentally ill.
DSM, what is that?
The DSM-5, that's the book of mental illnesses, so to speak. The American Mental Illness Bible.
Yeah. I was reading something quite like that the other day. It's just, that's what I was.
Everything from Munchausen syndrome,
It was the
Stockholm.
It was the encyclopedia for not mental. It was the encyclopedia for medical diagnoses. So myocardial infarction is the medical term for a heart attack. So if you didn't know what myocardial infarction was, you could use this medical encyclopedia and look up that exact thing and find out what it is.
You should probably roll that.
I am. No,
all right.
Seriously, that is what the
you're dumping.
I'm not dumping it. I was about to set it right here so I can pull out some tobacco. Not dumping it. Yeah, myocardial infarction is what a heart attack is called.
Did you see how quickly I turned into a Karen over my expensive ass cheap tobacco?
A Karen?
A Karen.
$2. No, wait, no, this might be the high dollar stuff.
I got Bugler papers because there's a bunch for cheap. And I got the 4 Aces tobacco because it's a cheap pack and 2 for 1. But it tastes like the ass end of a weak dead water buffalo.
I don't even know what that tastes like. I don't even want to know.
I've eaten out of dumpster slime.
I've eaten some things I'm not proud of myself.
Yep, is that why your breath smell like that? You needed the money.
Funny young man you are.
I am. I'm probably going somewhere warm when I die.
That's how I like to look at it. When I die, I hope I wake up and it's sunny.
I look at it like this. I may go to hell because I don't believe in Jesus the way that they believe in him.
Jesus was just a man that
exactly.
thought he could do
That's
things
how I
that he
look at
couldn't.
man.
That's why he was murdered. He was killed for believing he could do things he could not.
Well, regardless of any of that.
No, I'd like to know though. What's your personal opinion on it?
I believe that Jesus was a good man and he was good to humanity, despite the fact that humanity treated him like shit. I also think it's a damn shame that the Book of Judas isn't in the Bible because it's the only thing that makes it make sense.
That is actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Goddamn, about time. Fuck.
When they proposed putting the Book of Judas in the Bible, when they had that election to decide what was going in and what was staying out, the people who thought the Book of Judas should be a part of the Bible were all burned at the stake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When we elect popes, it's black fire and white, or black smoke and white smoke.
Fuck. Stupid ass glue, dude. Seriously?
Yeah. You got to lick on the outside and then let it dry for a minute. It sucks.
Stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, but I have some decent moments too.
I wasn't talking to you, friend. I was talking to the tobacco paper. If I was talking to you, I would have addressed you by your name and then called you that.
Sean David Schwartz, you are an asshole. Yes, I am.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of mom being an asshole.
Last time I was in Tennessee, I was staying in a place called Bristol, right on the border with Virginia.
I lived in Bristol for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, my grandma lives, actually, well, she did used to live there until she died.
She married to a coal miner?
Nope. She's actually married to a logger.
Ah.
Fuck. Okay, this is fucking totally bad.
You want me to roll you one?
Please. Apparently, I'm unable to do such at this time.
That's alright, I'll forgive you.
I'm quite stressed out today, actually.
Yeah, me too, but I'm not taking that on you. Or at least I'm trying not to. Am I being an asshole to you?
It's the anniversary of my grandfather's death today. That's kind of why I'm where I am right now. That's why I did that whole salute thing, because I didn't have my dad when I was growing up because he was killed in a logging accident when I was 6 months old, and my grandpa was the only thing I had, so.
Yeah, you don't act like you had a whole heck of a lot of positive influences on the male side of your life. That's not me talking shit either.
I know, I didn't. I sure as hell needed it, too.
And I don't want to assume that you grew up in the system, but because you're on the street, chances are pretty good you were in foster care growing up.
I was once or twice, yeah, but I lived with my mom for a lot of my life.
So she did love you?
A little bit, I guess. You know, in her own fucked up, cynical, twisted, and mentally fucked up way, yeah. What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, you mean the beeping?
Yeah, it's stopping and then going again.
Well, it's a car that's falling apart because I don't have the money
Where's
to
the
maintain
button?
it. I don't know, but here's the tobacco.
Where's the button? There it is. So, did you know if you don't want that beeping to happen, you can remove that?
I can also turn off my key. See? Just like that.
That's a fair point.
Yep. You know, there's an awful lot of people in this town who have offered me a lot of different drugs, and I have turned them all down.
I will never offer you drugs, partner.
Thank you.
I don't do hard drugs anymore, man. I quit.
That's good. I sold my kayak. Did you notice that?
You sold it, huh?
I did.
How much did you get for it?
150 from Dallas Palmer.
Oh, I know that kid.
Yeah. He was there with the Molly situation too. But you were there, like, you met her the same day I did.
Yes, I did. Matter of fact.
I might even have you recorded on my channel at the very beginning.
Maybe.
Oh.
I seen an interesting looking couple of folks, and I decided to stop the chat.
Yeah. Well, she was nice, but she was mean.
She was being nice while being mean.
Exactly.
Which I can only describe as condescending cunt.
Yeah, she was like that pretty much nonstop while you were there, but you were there to try to smoke weed and to try to smoke a cigarette, so it's not like you misled the situation.
I pretty much said what I wanted.
Yeah. And when she started going crazy, you left. For me, I got latched onto by Tom, and then he piled all of his shit around my vehicle, and then he kept on disappearing. And then he'd tell me, oh, well, you know, she's saying she's going to kill you, or she's talking about killing me, or she's saying that if I leave, she's going to tell people I touched her naughty place. I'm like, fuck, dude.
He's an 80-year-old man.
Right? Well, I got that recorded with him saying that. That's on my YouTube channel, too. I don't fuck around.
Right.
As soon as he started fucking getting all involved in that crazy bullshit, and he was still going back to that. Meanwhile, I'm setting aside my life to try to help. I don't care if he's tapping it or not.
I think he was.
The fucking head games that she was playing were fucked up. Her threatening to kill people is fucked up. Her accusing me of stealing shit when he had it the whole time is fucked up. Her accusing me of stealing shit that she lost in her fucking camp is fucked up.
Yeah, it is. She's a fucked up cunt.
Well, if Tom's still in town, she might be in town. You'd think he'd be smart enough to be rid of her by now. But then there's also the fact that she's a woman and she starts pulling that, oh, well, nobody's here to protect me.
I'd say, boo-hoo, you fucking cunt.
That's what she told him. She's like, you're supposed to protect me. Like, really? You're threatening to fucking kill the dude. And when he says that he can't fucking handle it and he needs some time to himself, you tell him that you'll go telling people that he raped you or molested you? Like, he's 80 years old. He might not be able to get it up without Viagra. But that's a fucked up way to get... Lots of people will believe that. She's a female. Nobody fucking cares. Even if there's zero evidence against him and all the evidence that I have that she's the fucking nut job, what are the chances of you coming forward and saying, hey, she's a fucking crazy nut?
She is, bro.
But if he was charged with raping her, would you speak up and say she's a crazy nut?
Absolutely.
Would you try to help me to find the evidence in the recordings where he's explaining that?
Absolutely.
Well, let's hope she didn't do that. The fact that he's out means she probably didn't.
My philosophy as man is that, okay, I personally believe because women are the reason why we are here, okay, it is our job to protect women, okay? Not to harm them, not to bring them any kind of harm, but to protect them and love them, okay? But when women like Molly come into our lives, okay, all that just completely goes right out the fucking door.
Yeah, there's no way to get rid of her. There's no way to avoid her.
Protect that woman. I want to kill her.
See, I don't want to kill anybody.
Okay, well, I don't want to kill her. I want to sew her mouth shut.
She is just plain mean and crazy. But you know what? When she talks about all the CIA and FBI stuff out here, she walks into the church and she sounds like a normal person.
Yeah.
She's all sweet and innocent and shit. Like,
yeah,
no, it is called an act.
It's called because she is extremely schizophrenic.
When she does stuff like that, she makes it dangerous for all of us. And Robert Farnsworth does too when he's streaming that shit. Yeah. When he's trying to accuse people of being thieves or rapists or child molesters because he's having an episode. Lucky for me. He does that kind of
thing when he gets on meth.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody told me. They're like, he's probably fucked up on meth. I'm like, that's no excuse. That makes me so I have to be more afraid. Just like these alcoholics, they want to go, oh, Sean, how dare you tell my personal business on the internet? I'm like, you're a mean drunk. Why the fuck wouldn't I? How am I supposed to function to get anything done in a house with a mean drunk? Or, of course, when I was in Bristol and my friend Brett Roloff was digging through his own shit for a bag of meth he was overdosing on. Meanwhile, I got half the people that I stayed with admitting to being drug dealers. I've got a bunch of the witnesses to different assaults and various vandalism against myself and my person and against others. You know, I've got witness after witness is recorded, even you. But the problem is that even though you're honest about it, they're not going to give a shit that it's on the internet. They're not going to give a shit unless you go in with me or somebody else pulls it off the internet and turns it in with me.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of fucked up the way the world is, you know.
People don't care that I don't do drugs.
They probably assume you do.
That's because I'm homeless, though.
Just because you're homeless, man, does not.
And I must be a rapist because I'm homeless too. See, I must be a child molester because I'm homeless.
I don't know why you're homeless, okay? I mean,
because my best friend was shot in the head and they tried to frame me for murder.
That's fucked up, partner. That's fucked up.
Yeah, at least they caught the guy.
You know, fucked up shit happens to everybody every day. You know what I mean? And for instance, you being homeless, me being homeless. You know. I didn't choose to be this way, okay? It happened to me because of life being a fucked up cunt.
Yeah.
Because life sometimes it just kicks you in the fucking nuts, you know, and you just like, you know?
Yeah, like when your friend says, hey, I thought of a great way to save you some money. $1,100 later, you're like, I should have just spent the $50 on a mechanic.
Right.
$11 hose and 12-minute installation.
I could have done it for the fuck. I'm a certified mechanic.
Right. Well, I changed the hoses on the car myself. I did an all right job. The radiator that's in it, I took out the old one and put that one in.
That's pretty simple work.
It is. I couldn't do that on a big-ass Chevy. I couldn't lift the thing out. But that fucker's made out of plastic and aluminum.
Yeah, it is. Probably got 2 little tiny fans on it, huh?
Just one. Yep.
See, on my 1989, excuse me, hatchback Honda Accord that I had. Yeah, it was an Accord. 1989 hatchback Honda Accord. It was red. Actually, sometimes you might have used to see it parked in this fucking grocery outlet parking lot.
No, because I only been here about 6 months.
Well, no, I mean this is recent. Like the lady that I sold it to, she works there. See that white Nissan Sentra over there?
Yeah.
That's what she's driving now. It's the 89 hatchback Accord that I sold. It's actually one of the most sought after Honda Accords out there because it's one of the best ones apparently to some people. But personally, the one that you got right here, I think is a lot better because this is like a little go-kart, and these things are really fun on dirt.
You know what's fucked up about going to the women that I did before Natalie was killed? When I went to them and I explained to them that I needed Natalie's help calling off the dogs and getting people to stop hurting me, instead of understanding that I was being harmed, which is what I was blatantly letting them know, they wanted to tell me stuff like, "Oh, you don't need her. Your heart just thinks that you do," and crap like that. And I'm like, "Fuck it. Your head just makes you think you do." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I got people treating me like I'm a child molester and a rapist over somebody that I never had that kind of relationship with.
Right.
Today I've been posting up screenshots of the messages between her and I while I was visiting her, when I was supposedly stalking her, and it shows that we were friends, that she thought she was in love with me. She admitted she thought she was in love with me, and she admitted that she was infatuated with me, and still infatuated with
Like
me.
obsessed?
Yeah.
Oh god, so that's when I get weirded out.
But she was also really young, too. Like, she was 18 when we became friends, and she was 19 when she got her brains blown out.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, we hadn't talked to each other in over a year, except, all right, she had called me once, right before she made a public post pretending I was some sort of a stalker. And her friends started getting on there and doing the same things that Maddie Bowe had done. Well, he looks like a child molester. He looks like a rapist. He must not be able to take no for an answer. Like, fuck. I've been trying to get these people to leave me alone. She's going out of her way to make it worse. I'm like, shit, she's not telling them that I'm a rapist or a child molester. Matter of fact, she even typed on there that we didn't have that kind of a relationship.
Really fucked up the lengths that people will go to trying to slander someone's name, you know?
Well, it's easy to do to a man, especially if he's
The
homeless.
internet is so easy to throw someone's name in the mud. It's like,
I threw a lot of people's name in the mud. No, I didn't. I just showed the fact that they laid down in the mud, wallowing like pigs.
that's one hell of a good way to put that. I like that.
Yeah, when people say, Sean, I can't help, my hands are tied, I tell them, no, your hands aren't tied. You're holding onto the rope, and there's a human being dangling at the other end. Let go of the fucking rope.
No shit.
If you're going to give me metaphors, I'll give you metaphors. You know?
Right?
And then people are like, oh, well, you need to feel sorry for the addicts. Don't use words like junkies. I'm like, shit. I'll tell the fucking junkie he's a junkie while giving him a fucking sandwich and a cigarette.
Right?
What's the difference between an addict and a junkie? An addict tries to make amends.
The junkie just sleeps in every day and steals from everyone they care about and lies.
And manipulates. And a lot of people, they do that shit because they're afraid or because they're embarrassed.
Look, did our Skyline sign have it's out so it says you let.
Yep.
You let means the Oregon market.
Utlet.
You let Oregon market. Nice, guys. Real nice.
See, now we could write our own fantasy book. We even got a main character, Argan.
Argan.
Argain. The knight. The great white knight Argain.
Sounds like a fucking knight, don't it?
And his best friend, the Black Knight, Utlet. Or maybe we should change the names because somebody might be offended by being called Utlet and might prefer the name Argain. But the word Argain is actually in lowercase, so we should make Utlet the star of the show. But Utlet is written up in white, and Argain is written up in yellow. And of course, that might insinuate that the person who's not the main character, the lowercase, would not be the main character. And of course, yellow is the color we consider or associate with cowards. But then there's also racists who are going to pretend that you're talking about Asian people. So basically, we can't use any of that in any sort of modern book because somebody's fucking mangina will bleed about something. We can't use any of it. It's all useless. It's all offensive. We need to grunt. We need to learn to grunt. That's what we need to do. They'll even reinterpret that for us.
Yeah, no, some of the, I can't fucking believe how many fucking people, you know, they make it their personal mission all day and every day to personally, and they enjoy it. to do this, to ruin people's lives in any way they can.
We call them Karens.
It's like, what the fuck? What are you?
For
what is
people like
so-
me,
what
we
is
call
so
them
fucked up? No, what
neurotypicals.
has got to be so fucked up in a person's life that they gotta go fucking up another person's to forget about their own. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that usually a lot of the reason why people are doing things like that is because of the fact that something's so fucked up in their own life that they don't want to acknowledge that.
Like
So they're
abuse
trying to
or
forget
neglect.
about it by fucking up with someone else's life.
Yep, like that girl who has to live with her mom and her dad even though her dad's raping her every night. And her mom won't listen to her or blames her or tells her that it's not happening. And she goes to her friends, the same thing. So she has no trusted adult. And she has to start cutting on herself in the hope that somebody will hear her. And then, of course, she gets locked up on suicidal ideations and nobody ever hears her again. Then anybody who wants to rape her or molest her at any point in time can do so and get away with it and just say she's mentally ill. And people will associate it as if she is schizophrenic and delusional. Boom, no life.
See, when I was in grade school, those kids that were in grade school, dude, like I'm talking 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade. They were bringing around this one student around the school, right? And he was in 5th grade, and he just had fucking cuts all up and down his arms and his legs.
Yup.
And when I asked this young man what the fuck he was doing that for, he said the only reason why he was doing it is because his family wouldn't show him attention. Because he felt like he was being left out.
And it is about getting attention, but it's about getting attention for the right reasons. It's not being raped by your dad that results in cutting. It's the fact that your dad raped you and you go to your mom about it or your best friend and they blow you off. It's the neglect that results in cutting and suicide. It's the blowing your friends off, never having enough time, never caring enough, never making the time, no matter how much they scream for help. They're just attention seeking.
Yes, that's what I don't like, If somebody needs help with something and they're trying to seek that help that person. Make it your personal mission to do every fucking
and
thing
to help
that you
them how they
can.
need. One of the things with me is people keep on telling me that if I invest my resources, that they'll help me how I need. And once my money is gone, they haven't helped how I need.
They don't want to see it go. Fuck, just put my phone just a second ago.
Yeah, you dropped it on the other side of the door. I couldn't even see it and I knew where it went. But you see me out here. Most of the people that interact with me are drug addicts. I already know a bit about Candace's history, and whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I've been told about it.
Raiden's woman?
I don't know whose woman she is. I know that she's got a son. I know that. She does drive a white car. Yep. I've been feeding her and her son. I spent about $300 on them to be able to eat just in the last month.
Her old man, his name's Braden Mary. She just got out of jail a couple days ago. Yesterday, I think.
Huh. Well, she was over here at the grocery outlet about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I fed her and her son. I also fed him over at McDonald's. I also got him some food down at Fred Meyer's.
That's what kind of you.
Well, it's food stamps, so I could go to jail for it.
You can't go to jail for buying food for somebody with food stamps.
If they don't live in your household.
You go to jail for selling them.
Ah. Well, I wasn't doing it for her. I was doing it for her son. But anybody who's hungry, I'd do that for. I also got some food for her up there at the corner market, center market, whatever.
Sorry, yeah.
So like, yeah, 4 or 5 different occasions within like a week's time. She kept on calling me up. And then, I was letting her know, hey, I'm having a rough time. And, I'm really feeling, like I want my life to end. And I'm really needing help, And she just started calling me selfish. But then she still wanted to call me and have me get her food. I did, but she treated me bad.
I care about you, and I don't want you to kill yourself because I think you're a cool man, and I respect you a lot. So it would hurt me for you to take your own life, which would be selfish on your part.
It wouldn't be selfish on my part. It's selfish for people to make my pain about them and for them to want me to have to stay with it. I wouldn't hurt myself like that. The thing is that I get harmed a lot, and people don't come forward. They say, oh, well, nobody's going to listen to me. I'm a drug addict. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm fat. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm schizophrenic. Everybody's got an excuse why they can't come forward, why they can't tell the truth. And that results in situations like what happened with Molly and all of the harm that came to me because of that, long lasting repercussions. And also the fact that with nobody coming forward, the police never took it seriously. They never investigated. They never cared.
Yeah, they don't care. They treat it as if you're fucking just lying.
Yep. And when I went to the hospital
Well,
to
like
try,
you're just
I was assaulted at the hospital on January 28th, and I've been trying to turn it in ever since.
really.
Yep. But nobody will help me turn it in or take it seriously. Nobody will help me to do that. Nobody will help me to turn in the assault against Jamie in the Dalles, Oregon.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's fucking really fucked up.
it is. And I've gone to the mandated reporters. I'm a disabled and at-risk adult. They use that whenever they can to try to pretend that I'm not trying to help myself. But then magically I'm sane again and credible again when it comes time for sentencing. I'm like, man, you guys are dumb. Other than Arapahoe County, Colorado, and the shit in Rawlins, Wyoming, they weren't able to torture me enough to get me to plead guilty to shit. And they had to keep on dropping the charges. In Chapel, Nebraska, 11 separate times when I tried to turn in the police and my predators, they either arrested me on false charges or took me to a nuthatch and lied to the doctors or the nurses.
It's fucked up.
Right? That's just one county alone. My friends in Nebraska didn't speak up because Natalie died. And when I'd gone to them before Natalie died, they wanted to tell me, oh, you just need to love yourself. I got a question for you. Let's imagine you're my size, you're disabled, and you're older, and people are assaulting you everywhere that you go over shit that's on the internet. Stuff that other people said that's on the internet.
That's.
Like, I can't defend myself. I can't physically do it, and mentally I am at the end of my rope with people like Molly and people like Farnsworth.
You know, at a point like that, you just gotta realize sometimes you just gotta let things go. But at another point,
And that is the worst thing you should ever say to a victim, is just to let it go, because that allows their predator to go free and forces that person into a state of fear because their predators are free and they won't get help. They're going to be told to ignore it.
See, I'm not saying you are right. That's the wrong thing to say. No, you shouldn't ignore the fact that these people are doing those things to you. And it's really fucked up the fact that the law won't help you because they think you're lying
or they just don't care because I'm a disabled homeless male. But I've been in this parking lot because going into town is unsafe. Going to the church feeds is unsafe. If Robert Farnsworth is threatening to kill me right outside of the building on their property, they can hear it and they can see it, and they don't turn it in. According to the state of Oregon, they're committing a Class A criminal offense, and it also requires up to a $2,000 fine for them doing so, and could involve them losing their jobs. So when I was assaulted at the hospital, that was the second time I'd gone to the hospital because they're supposed to be mandated reporters. When you're called mentally ill, you have to go to the police and you have to have a friend or family member there present, or preferably a witness. But with all the witnesses to the shit with Molly not coming forward, some of them saying that they would, but they never followed through, the shit with Molly resulted in a lot more months of me being harmed by that, being afraid to go to the feeds because she might be there, being afraid to go to the feeds because Farnsworth might be there, and more importantly, being afraid to go to the feeds because, well, even that really nice lady Eileen, being a mandated reporter, admitting to being a mandated reporter, she also admitted that she didn't know what that meant. She didn't know what their duties as a mandated reporter were.
What?
Yeah. If a disabled and at-risk adult is telling you that they were harmed, that is reason enough to start an investigation.
Absolutely.
Not just a report, but an actual investigation. And also,
take action.
Because of my communication issues, I don't have to write it down. I can make an oral report. We all have that right. When they start interrupting you when you're making an oral report, they're outright dismissing you and everything that you're saying, and they're disrespecting you greatly. Me, I've been learning how to self-advocate. The problem is that you're not allowed when you're called mentally ill. You have to have somebody in your corner.
To speak on your own behalf.
Exactly.
So stupid, you know.
They try to have you pegged as schizophrenic, and if it doesn't work, well, they've at least wasted your time, had you locked up for long enough, that all of your things are taken, and you have to get started all over on getting your disability money back, and your Medicare and Medicaid, and then you have to have an address to get that stuff back. All they got to hold you for is 30 days. After that, you have to start over. Yeah, the cops kept on doing that and deprived me of resources. Then there was my back pay. The back pay that I was supposed to get, by the time I got any of it, Ken Wilson and Leatha Plunkett stole it. And then Natalie died, and it all got spent having to buy electronics so that I could show the evidence. And, of course, rent hotel rooms and pay people to go along with me, pay for their bus fare, pay for this, pay for that. Pay to go to courts, pay to go to see public pretenders who didn't show up, go to courts for another continuance, go to see the investigators that literally not once ever showed up, and every time it cost me money. Yep. Yeah, well, Natalie wasn't the only person who ended up dead. My friend Rebecca Gross-Nickel Foley was human trafficked. I was coming up here to help her to testify and try to get a court date for her about the abuse that she's endured.
She disappeared?
She did. I went and found her, though. Natalie Bollinger, after all the fucked up shit that she did and her friends did to me before she died, when I found out she disappeared, I stopped trying to take her to court and focused just on trying to get her safe. I offered her my last $400. Told her to call her mom.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is she was already dead by the time I sent that message. Yeah, she was able to get a protection order against me by, first of all, I didn't know where she was at. I thought she was still in Virginia. But also, she pretended like she was going to meet me to end all this crazy, as she called it. And I wanted to meet at the police station. And despite that, people pretend like I was stalking her. Instead, we were going to meet at a different Starbucks, and she didn't show up. I figured it was either going to be the cops or one of the predators to come harass me or threaten to kill me again. Turned out it was the cops, but I called it. All this stuff I saw coming, and I predicted it before it happened, including how my friend Christine Buhit would die. I knew that once she got housing and destroyed a bunch of evidence because she was afraid of losing housing, that she was going to overdose on heroin in her house, or in her housing. No, she actually overdosed on fentanyl, but it happened while I was in prison. Yeah, I'm the only person I know who's ever been to prison without a conviction or even being charged with a felony. In Nebraska, they've got what's called the County Safekeep Program. So if your county is too small to have a functioning jail, they can send you to pretty much anywhere else in the state, including prison, until trial. Yeah. Inmate number 6675. I only have 4 numbers because I'm a county safekeep. A convicted felon gets 5 numbers. And then that's used, it's called, they give you that and another number that's called your jacket. And your jacket explains what you're in there for. It's a number and letter designation. Now my jacket showed that I wasn't in there at all because I'm a county safekeep. It all goes through Scott DaCosta, the Dual County Sheriff. The very sheriff I was trying to turn in. 11 different times they tried to have me fucking locked up with false charges. Over 30 different false charges, and they had to drop every one. Now tell me that does not qualify as harassment and intimidation.
That does.
Every time they got away with it by calling me mentally ill and by lying to people who were supposed to be helping me. And rather than those people listening to me and looking at evidence, they just listened to the pigs I was trying to turn in. wallowing in the mud. That's right. I got hundreds of conversations with people where they talk about how they're afraid for their families. Some of them, they talk about how cops came and harassed them and threatened them. Some of them, they talk about how the Bollingers or some of their web wingnuts were harassing them, or people who make true crime like Mike Boudet harassing them. Fucked up. Anyway, I'm gonna close my door because I'm freezing my Royal Rastafarian mayonnaise off.
Alright, fine. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Be safe. That and I got to pee too. All right. Be safe.
Yep.
Oh my God, I gotta taste like a racehorse. Mobile bathroom. Please avert your eyes. Come on.